All right, good morning. Around this time, like 5 years ago, I was up here telling the church that I first felt the call to missions. Kind of crazy how time works, huh? But I will be going out to France and working kind of with two separate teams over there that is already planted over there. You can see the pictures on the screen right now. The top one is in the city Nantes, which is one of the cities I'll be working in. That is the Les Annex des Brunes, which is just a bunch of huge ring lights that light up at night. But it's like a major attraction out there. This city is actually the city where Jules Verne was born, the author of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Around the World in 80 Days. And so like the whole city has kind of adopted that like imaginative artistry. There's just like art sculptures everywhere, and it's really cool to just walk downtown and see it all. And the bottom picture is of a statue in Saint-Nazaire, which is another city I'll be working in with a church plant. And that is, like, it translates in English as the American statue, because it is representative of the Americans coming to Saint-Nazaire in World War I. That's where they first entered Europe and fought through there. So, the spiritual state in France today can be described really in one quote given in the early 2000s by Luc Ferry. He was the Minister of Education, or debating against his opponent to then become the Minister of Education. He ended up winning. But he said, France is a nation that has chosen to live without God. That is a result a little bit of, in 1901, they passed a law called the Laïcité, which basically was a separation of church and state. France was a heavy Catholic nation, but by that time they decided they wanted that separation. And what that has led to is people don't even know what the inside of a church building looks like now. They're scared to enter one. They don't want to approach a church because they think they're joining a cult. And that has led to 51% of the nation saying they believe there is no God whatsoever. I kind of read that at first and I was like, 49% might believe in God doesn't necessarily mean that they are believers, but 49% of the nation might believe in God. And then I looked up the same stat for America, and Americans say there's 5% that don't believe that there's any God. And so it's just in this really, really dark time right now where people, because of this law that was passed way back in the day, because they don't want to stand out, because they're scared to show a little personality in France, that they don't even talk about spiritual things or spiritual life, anything spirituality, and it has just resulted in this divide in the nation of any hope, to the point where, you just walk down the street and no one even wants to look you in the eye. Kind of pivot a little bit, the population of France right now is listed at 67 million. Now, if we take that and from a survey provided by Statista, they said that 20% of French people daily go on YouTube, which is around 13 million. There's 13 million daily users for one internet app. It also said that across the nation, there's about 46 million just users in general, and millennials spend upwards of 30 minutes a day on YouTube. And that doesn't include Twitter, that doesn't include Facebook, that doesn't include Instagram. Anywhere you can see all these videos. Those two stats may not make a whole lot of sense together, 51% not believing in God and all these people on YouTube all the time. But that is a huge area of focus right now for the French IM team. We are focused on apologetics and social media. Apologetics, they have already seen a lot of success in. They are doing these events they are calling Je pense, which translates to I think. Really, it's just getting people together. They sing a few songs, and then they tell them why it's logical that you can believe that there is a God. Not, hey, you need to believe in our God, but they're just opening that door to have discussions for people who have any sort of questions coming in about like what is this God thing that everyone's talking about or that you're talking about and all this type of stuff. And also social media, because as every church in the entire world figured out during COVID that social media can be a pretty powerful thing. While live streaming the services in the church in Saint Nazaire, Matt Price told me that sometimes they'd have over 3,000 people a month watching their services. Just because people, again, didn't know what the inside of a church building looked like. They didn't know what they were walking into. They were able to go online, they were able to watch a service, and then because of that, since the quarantine ended, they've had almost one new family or new person every Sunday. It's crazy, and they have no idea what's going on, and they don't really know how to keep up with it, but they're loving it. So how do I fit into all of this? I'll be going over there to live stream services in the Saint Nazaire Church, because right now, even after all the success they had, they don't have any live stream up, just because they don't have anyone to run it. They don't have anyone to make sure it's working well, anything like that. So I'll be going over to do that, and I'll be going over to record the J-Pont services to be able to put them on YouTube, and hopefully eventually just be making general YouTube content for people to stumble upon any given time when they're using the internet. That doesn't necessarily mean I'll be sitting behind this computer screen the whole time, though. I'm still going over there to make connections. That's what being a missionary is all about. It's about meeting people. It's about getting your foot in the door to open it all the way and have an opportunity to share the gospel with someone. When I went over there last summer, I spent about 2 months over there. I was able to meet this teenager. His name was Valentin. And right before I had come, a few months before I'd come, he was on YouTube and found a YouTube video created by this guy. He calls himself the YouTube Pastor. From that video, he clicked on his channel, ended up watching like half of his videos on his channel, was really interested, wanted to get involved in a church, so he emailed this YouTuber. He lived in a completely different part of France from Valentin, and so what he did is went online and found the church in Saint Nazaire and got in contact with Matt Price. And he was able to email him, give him Valentin's contact information. Valentin got in contact with Matt, said he wanted to come to church. And Matt's like, oh, this is awesome, this is great. Next thing you know, Valentin's parents are texting Matt, wondering why he's texting a 16-year-old boy, kind of thing. And his parents said that they are very strong atheists. They are open to let Valentin come to church on Sunday because they want him to explore stuff on his own, figure out things on his own. But they didn't want Matt contacting him outside of church on Sundays. And if he ever asked him to do anything during the weekday, he would never be allowed to talk to Valentin again. That was probably a few weeks before I showed up, about a week or two into me being there and meeting Valentin at church, kind of becoming friends with him a little bit. We were able to spend just about the whole week together, 1 week. Him just coming out to the church, helping us put down hardwood floor, helping us like sand down a cross. And his parents were sitting there dropping him off every day, saying hi to us, bye to us, just seeing that he was really enjoying himself and going there. And that's what we want to do with the internet. What this YouTube pastor did over there for Valentin, we want to be able to provide that for someone too. It's not, our ministry doesn't start and stop with the internet, but our ministry starts, we get a foot in the door, we get an opportunity to share the gospel with someone. And hopefully that turns into a relationship with God. So how can you join our ministry team? Number one, obviously you can pray. Number two, obviously you can give. I noticed some people here had already started giving to my account. I'm very thankful. If you would also like to give, you could scan that QR code, the top picture. It's got the I Am logo on it, that one. That'll take you directly to my give page on the I Am website. I also have commitment cards out there that I can show you how they work and everything after the service. I feel weird asking for money a little bit. This church has always been incredible to me in any trip I wanted to go on. You've funded so many things that I've done. And I'm very thankful for that. And I know that that could happen again. I'm trying to get over there as quick as possible to start all this stuff up. They're saying that there's opportunities everywhere already, and they need someone to come over there and do all this video work. I can't really do that because I have so much money to raise, and I'm working full time. But I know y'all can take care of me. Also, you can join my Facebook group. If you're not friends with me on Facebook, just send me a message or send me a friend request, and I can invite you into the group. And the bottom QR code is a link to sign up to a newsletter that I'll be posting probably about once a month. Just kind of wrap it up, I want to give one final thank you. I'm obviously a product of my parents, but I'm also a product of this church and everything that y'all have done for me growing up, from missionaries coming in all the time and us getting to listen to their presentations, from Miss Nelda's class, having world map posters and praying for missionaries every Sunday everywhere. Mr. Jimmy sitting in Wednesday night classes and us not allowed to give church answers and actually had to think about what we were saying. There's just so many different areas in my life where y'all have taken care of me and poured into me, and I definitely wouldn't be where I am without that today. So, thank you.